Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Subscriber Award for over 100,000 subscribers. We're actually over 106,000. And on our other channel, we're very close to 37,000. So thank you. You like us and we like you. Our show today is the Mallorca Connection. And we're going to be talking about I'm seeing red, get it red, when anger starts to creep in and we start to lose our minds, what actually happens and how we can deal with it in a healthy way. Joining me is the star of our show. His name is Mr. Roland Friedel. He is a dear friend and colleague and mentor. He's also an author. He's an entrepreneur. He's coached and worked with some of the biggest companies in the world. Let's welcome him to the show. Hello.
Hello, Jacqueline. Great to see you.
Thank you.
You look amazing. You look amazing.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I love when you say that. You look quite good yourself. So where in the world are you, Roland?
I just arrived Saturday night in a beautiful area. I'm in Austria, in a kind of national park. It's called Almsee. It's a lake in the mountain. It's crystal turquoise, like in the Caribbean water, and there's also a river. And I had the luck that I know somebody who has a beautiful, very small, beautiful house in this area, so I can camp here because it's forbidden to camp and stay at a campfire. So I can camp here, and I'm parking just beside this amazing river. It's beautiful. It's absolutely silent here. There are no cars, nothing in the night. There is no light pollution. It's dark night. You can walk your dog and run, whatever you do, or horseback riding. I go in the river every day. It's very, very cold, but very cleansing and healing. I stay here for 8 or 9 days. And the reason for that is because I had a red flag on the weekend. And I was looking for a space to come down and recover and sort out my thoughts and stuff that triggers me and come to a solution. That's why. And I'm very grateful to be here. And it already helped me. But we can talk later about it, what I do when I see a red flag.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It sounds magnificent. And when you just said it's so quiet, I love the quiet. And what I found is where I live, it seems like lately, I'm in an apartment complex. I don't know if there are different people living here, but yesterday someone was singing upstairs, just singing. And, the walls are not paper thin, so it must be loud singing. And then someone has a dog that's consistently barking over and over and over again. And then when they were having someone clean the windows, on one of those huge things going up and down and up and down. And I said to myself, I just have to block this all out because none of those three things I can control. But I found myself getting upset because where I am in my place, it's completely silent. And that's what I love.
Yeah, me too. I love the silence. I was smiling when you talk about the singing because, a guy was sitting in front of his house and the neighbor asked, "What are you doing?" I said, "My wife is singing and I don't want my neighbors believe that I beat her."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, there are things that happen unexpectedly to us and we become angry about it. And I've got one that just happened the other day. Do you want to go first?
Um, and to all the honest, first of all, last week I said I do my last Mallorca collection, but here we are again. And the reason for this topic is brand new because I really was pissed off. Sorry, but I was so pissed off last Saturday. So we come up with this topic. So it's very, yeah, very new topic. But but I know that it happens to many people that we get a red flag and then we are pissed off and we are triggered and I think that I know you, Dr. Jacqueline, too, but I myself, I have a way that I come down very soon and check the facts. And yeah, but this topic came up because something happened last Saturday. We're not going into details, but we're talking about how to get out of it. Is it okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we really get pissed off. Maybe and there are different circumstances. Maybe it's another person, maybe it's an event, or we're pissed off for ourselves for making mistakes. So there are different ways of getting annoyed and getting a red flag. For me personally, last Saturday it was a person that really triggered me, and I was so furious, and I contacted Jack. I'm so furious about what's going on here. And normally I come down very soon, and I will talk about how I do it. But on this special Saturday, I was not alone driving my motorhome. I had a person beside me, so I couldn't go my way how I wanted. And then I was triggered by the person who was traveling with me because she was 7 hours nonstop on the phone, on her speaker, talking loud. I was not interested in what she was talking about with the other persons with different calls, but I was normally when I drive my motorhome, I'm silent. I most of the time I don't even listen to music. I just hang around, silent, driving, looking around, enjoying the landscape. And she was talking nonstop, very loud with speakers on the phone. And what annoyed me too was the person and the other persons around. They had never heard about elevating listener. They're always interrupting each other, and it was so annoying. It was hard, but after 7 hours of ride, I arrived safely, and a friend of mine came, and he immediately felt what I'm feeling, and he took me in his car. We went 5 minutes deeper into the valley, and until late night, we had a long walk in the forest. Yeah, it helped me.
Well, that's good because I think what happens is we start to recognize things that upset us and then how can we deal with it. And I know you and I spoke on Saturday, so I know you were really upset. And that's not like you, really. I mean, in all the time I've known you, I know that you have a great way of processing things. So you went to your toolbox, your skill set that you have, and you made it happen so that you diffused the anger. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, you know me now. You've been knowing me now for 4 years. We did 400 shows or something like that. I'm a very calm and friendly person, but sometimes when it's too much, it's better get out of the way. And what I normally do is when I'm really very upset, I just start screaming, not on a person, just being by myself in a motorhome, or I close the door between the driving part and the other part so my dog doesn't get shocked. Or if it's possible, I get out in the forest and I just get rid of this energy. And I shake around, I also shake my body to get rid of the energy. It's very important that's what my experience is, because otherwise we store this negative energy in our cells. So I get rid of it by shaking my body. I don't know if you heard about Osho. He does this, how it's called? This I forgot the name. Sorry, it's coming back. I should drink more cocoa. He has a kind of meditation. Before meditating, sitting down, they're really screaming, shouting, dancing, running around. He said you have to get rid of this energy first to come down. Or people in yoga, they do the asana first, the exercise, and then coming down. It's getting rid of the energy. So that's what I do. Is when I really am very upset with something, and I know it's not good to destroy in the body, I'm going to shake it around, and I just scream in the forest and nobody's there. That's the release. That's the first thing. and then then the next thing is what triggered me. What was it exactly? And what are the data? What are the facts? Did I have a biased awareness? Maybe I didn't hear the whole thing, or I didn't see the whole thing. Was it real, or was it just me? Was it really something that somebody did to me, or is it just a feeling? So I analyzed this first, finding the data, and then I sit down. When I come down, and I'm so when I'm, as I said, when I'm out of the red, when I'm in this red zone, I have to cool down my emotions. That's the first thing. So what I learned, I never react on when I'm in the red zone. But I told you that we have to change something, but by the way, to our audience, it was not Dr. Jacqueline who triggered me. It was another person, but it has something to do with the show. But I did not talk to the other person, not at all, because I know when I'm in the red zone, maybe I say something that I regret afterwards or something like that. So no, I cool down. That's the first thing. What I do is cooling down my emotion, getting out of the red zone by, first of all, being aware that something triggered me, because we always see that we are triggered. Is there, for me, four ways we are aggressive, or we get passive, or we try to escape. These are the four habits that we have. And I was really first time I really had aggression inside me. I was very aggressive inside. So I know, okay, something triggered me. Coming down, what was it? Was it a biased awareness or whatever? What are the facts? Blah, 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 blah. Finding a short solution with a third party person who was not involved, but we have to clarify that. And then I was coming down, and then it took me actually 4 hours to really relax. And then I was talking to the person who was sitting next to me in the motorhome afterwards. I told her the next day what happened to me, and without making her responsible, because it was my reaction, but she understood and she apologized. And then the other conversation I have later about this. So that's my first thing is, when I'm in the red zone, I never try to throw things out, especially with another person, because you're not acting rational when you're in the red zone. I don't know how about you, Dr. Jacqueline, but I stay calm. I calm myself down, bring everything down. And what I mean is, by bringing everything down, it's not suppressing someone, really get rid of the energy. I'm moving around, get the negative energy out. I'm screaming, whatever helps me, bringing this negative energy down, then writing down my notes, or maybe sometimes write it down my notes and make some, and yeah. And when I have to clarify something with a person where it's a kind of emotional attached, I write it down first like a letter, and then I burn it. That's what I did in the forest. I was writing a letter, and then I burned it and get rid of it. And I'm now I'm in a good state, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talk to this person afterwards.
All good processes, and especially helpful coming from you with all your coaching and mentoring experience. So thank you so much for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Very welcome.
I had a situation on Thursday that I was very angry, but I know it was my own fault. And what happened was, I decided to take this fitness class that involves half the time on treadmills and then the other half the time on the floor doing various body weight exercises, weights, training, etc. And so it's the second time, I think, or the third time I've taken it. And so I decided to start on the treadmill first. And as I was warming up, just walking, my right foot tripped a couple of times. So I would go, oh, that's weird. But it has happened before when I wasn't on a treadmill. You kind of, you're just walking and all of a sudden you trip. And I said to myself, you really need to go and change your sneakers, because I typically have 2 or 3 pairs of sneakers in the car. And I was just too lazy to do it. I just did not feel like it. My watch was already on timing me, and the class was about to begin. So the class begins, and you do a certain amount of time at a baseline, which is 4.0 here. I don't know what it would be in the European countries, but it's 4.0, and then it's an incline of 1. And then you take it up to maybe 5.0 and 2 incline. And so I think I was at the 6 point a 0 and 2.5 or 3. And 1 minute I'm running, and I was holding on. I remember I said to myself, you better hold on. And the next thing I know, I was on the ground behind me, behind the treadmill. And I was actually there for what felt like forever before anyone realized that I was off the machine, because the machines are all next to each other and there's loud music playing. And then I don't even know who it was that realized that I was on the ground. And I think I was in a state of shock. But I said to myself, you should have changed your sneakers. Like, you knew maybe the right one's a little too big or something. I don't know. But I ended up donating the sneakers yesterday to the Goodwill. And I did tell the intake person that I tripped in them a few times. I'm not saying that brand, but I did look it up. And there have been a number of cases from people who have tripped wearing those sneakers, apparently because they're heavy or on the bottom. And I think a running sneaker is supposed to be light, and these are heavier. But anyway, the team lead came over, the coach came over with a first aid kit and bandaged me up. And this finger is still swollen. I can't get a ring on it. And this finger is black and blue underneath it. But my knees are all cut up. And then I have this, which is, it's not healing totally. But the point was, I had to go to urgent care. And as I'm sitting there, I'm reading my new book. I got the proof of it, right? This is the proof. So I start reading it while waiting for the doctor. And there were some editing errors. And I had no one to blame because I did the editing myself. I have a team of people, but I did it myself. So I was mad about that. And I was mad I was in urgent care. I was mad that I didn't change my sneakers. And so what happened as a result of that was I got a lot of judgment from people saying, why are you doing something so dangerous? Like being on the treadmill is so dangerous. And it's your fault. You knew to change your sneakers, which of course I know, but you don't need someone telling you that. So I've kind of been angry about those things, and I've worked through it. But I always think to myself, what is the lesson? What is the lesson of me falling off the treadmill? What is the bigger? And I don't know what it is, except for listening to your intuition. And I actually did a show on it. It was last Thursday night. My hand was in a thing, and this was all wrapped up. And I did a show about following your intuition. And my intuition told me to go and change my sneakers. And my intuition also told me to hold on to the treadmill, because since then I've gone back to the gym. When I walked up the steps, Roland, I saw the area where they have this class, and I saw the treadmill I was on, and I got like a little, I don't know, like a sick feeling. And then I just said to myself, I am not going to be intimidated by what happened. And I didn't get on that treadmill because it's a different kind of tread. The tread has like lines through it, so it's a different feeling. And I went on one of the regular treadmills, and I just said to myself, I have to prove to myself that I'm not going to be afraid to go on a treadmill. So of course I didn't run because I'm still healing. But if I hadn't have held on to the treadmill when I was running on Thursday, because I replayed it in my mind, I would have definitely hit my chin, because I would have hit the thing as I went down. I could have cracked my head. There was a wall behind me. And so I've actually looked into it. People have died falling off of treadmills. So if I wasn't holding on, who knows what could have happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck that it was like that. But you said some important things. You said, okay, first of all, I come from the late. You said you go back to the treadmill. I think it's very, very important that when something happened and we are scared, that we go back immediately, because otherwise we are traumatized by that. That's very, very important to be careful. I had a similar when I was a student. I was horseback riding professionally. I had a sponsor for the horse because I couldn't afford my own professional horseback. And in the stable, I was training with this famous trainer. They had a stallion, a young stallion, and it was owned by a guy from former Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia after the war in the 90s fell apart in Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Serbia, and different countries. And this guy brought the stallion in the stable. Then the war began, and he never showed up again. And after 3 years, the owner said, "Hey, Roland, now that the horse is mine, as his, because he fed him and taking care about everything." And the guy didn't come back. Maybe I don't know, maybe he died in the war or something like that. Anyway, so the owner of the stable said, Roland, you ride the stable. And I was riding the stable. And oh my gosh, he was 3 years just standing, not moving much. And yeah, what happened is, anyway, so somebody made a mistake, and the stallion was get furious, and I fell off the horse. Or no, I didn't fall off the horse. I jumped off the horse because I said I have to get out of the horse because otherwise he's gonna kill me. And but I had a certain boot on, not a normal boot for training. I had a hiking boot on, so it was bright. I couldn't get out. So I was dropping down on the floor, and with one leg I still was on the saddle. So the horse was running, and I on my chest in the back, and he tried to get rid of me. So with legs back, he was hitting me all the time. It was horrible. Some people thought I'm gonna die here. It was traumatic. But at the end, I could get out, and I was lying on the floor, and I was so shocked, and the shock was good because of the shock, I had no pain at all. And I said to the trainer, I get back on the horse because I know if I don't get back on the horse immediately, I never go on a horse again. So I went up on the horse and was riding it in the small circles. And then I don't remember, after 2 or 3 minutes, the pain came in and I started screaming, and they brought me to the surgery. But it was so important to get back on the horse, and that's why I said what you said, getting back on the treadmill. And when I was recovered, I had a lot of broken stuff. But anyway, I got back to horse riding, and I never was scared again. But I'm more and more careful. Yeah, it's important when something happened like that we go back as soon as possible if you want to continue. So again, you're not traumatized. And when we talk about trauma, Jacqueline, Dr. Jacqueline, is especially when, as you said, when we get upset about ourselves making a mistake in business, in relationship, in sports, or when we make a mistake and we upset with ourselves, I guess it's also important that we don't start blaming ourselves. When we have this, did you ever hear about the trauma triangle? So we have 3 parts in the trauma triangle. We have the perpetrator, how do you call it? Perpetrator, the victim, and the rescuer. And we can play all roles in one. And it happened to me when I was young. I did something wrong, and then I was screaming inside about myself, blaming myself, how stupid I am. So I was perpetrating myself, and then I felt like a victim. I said, I'm not good enough, and I'm good enough. My self-confidence went down. And then I tried to rescue myself. And what I did when I was young is mostly I was eating sweets or chocolate or stuff like that, until I found somebody who helped me out. And then when I was upset with myself, I started running and doing sports and stuff like that. So it was my early years. It's so dangerous when we upset with ourselves that we really, what I mean is beat ourselves, scream at ourselves. I'm too lazy. I'm too dumb. I'm too silly. I don't know, whatever. It's not good. And what I learned also when we talk about frequencies is because the more we have negative thoughts about ourselves, I'm dumb, I'm too dumb, I'm too lazy, I'm not whatever, I'm not capable, then we get more of this negative stuff. And so it's really difficult when we're really upset about ourselves, and we also say when we're in the red zone, really upset, when we're in the red zone in the heat, to stay really cool and to say, okay, everything is going fine, I'm doing better and better, and stay in positive energy, in this positive frequency, so we can get more positive frequencies. But it's a really challenge, but we can learn this.
Yeah, it's so true what you're saying. I know that for myself, I did, as I was sitting there on the ground with people cleaning me up and one person holding me, I guess I was shaking. I kept saying, what an idiot I am. I am such an idiot. Because I felt badly, not only about me falling off, and of course, me now being unable to take the class, but the teacher who's teaching it is there, and the couple of people who are also teachers, but they're taking the class. So these people are all there, and now I messed up their class. So I just was annoyed at myself for making the choice that I made. So I did do some research, and it turns out that the treadmill has the highest number of incidences of people getting injured of any piece of equipment in a gym. It is typically the treadmill. Now, one of my best friends, she recently had a mishap at the gym where someone completely unrelated, unknown to her, dropped a 45-pound dumbbell on her foot. So that was, that's something that can happen. You have to keep your distance from people. But, it's interesting. I had another incident where I was at the place that I love to work out. That's not this place, but it's a certain name. And they have a machine like a reformer, and it's attached with these cables for the cable to go back and forth. And there are these wires, and you get encouraged by the coaches to run from one side to the other. And so my foot got stuck in between the two wires, and I fell, and I was lying on the concrete, and the machines are very close to each other. And I went, and these two fingers were completely ripped open, and I think it took 6 or 8 weeks for them to stop bleeding and for the infection to go away. But so now what I do is I don't run to the other side. I take my time, I walk to the other side and do what I have to do. And so I think we can adjust our behavior, even though someone's saying, hey, you've got to do this. You have to see, how does it feel for yourself? And I think that goes back to listening to your intuition. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. I didn't know that the treadmill is the most dangerous one, but I remember before I moved into the mobile home and I was a member in a gym, I loved the treadmill. But it happened to me too. I had my shoes open because I wanted to have more comfortable, and then one of my shoelaces came between the treadmill, the moving part, and the fixed part. And it's going back because the band is going back because you're running in front. Yeah, but luckily I could get out of my shoes because otherwise I fall back down too. Yeah, treadmills are really dangerous, but I didn't know that's the number one. Yeah, but I want to tell something about blaming ourselves and what happened when this event happened on last Saturday when I really was so upset. Luckily, a very good friend of mine, Jürgen, by the way, thank you when you're listening for your friendship. He really is a good guy, and he really listens, and I support him. I coach him in a different thing, and he supports me. And he came here, and we did this long walk, really dark night. And I was really upset, and then I was first of all I was upset because of the person, and then I said I was upset about myself. Why I'm accepting this, that people treat me like this and just do stuff like that. I was upset like that. And he always said, Roland, stop. Reframe what you're saying. No, say it in a positive way. Don't say it like this. If you're negative, you get more negative stuff. Reframe it. And this really helps, because when we stay in this negative mood, my thing is more negative stuff is coming up, but it's sometimes it's difficult when you're by yourself. But luckily at this time, because I was really in a very hot red zone, I was very lucky that my friend was here with me and could really help me and to come down much quick. And he always said, reframe it. No, not negative. It's against you. Why you want to attract more negative stuff? Reframe it again. And he was really on me. And to be honest, a short time I was pissed off with him because I said, yeah, I got it, but I'm so angry. I said, no, I stay with you. I'm your friend. Reframe it. And really, he really forced me to reframe my thoughts and my sentences, my phrases I brought out, and then I came down in it. I'm so happy about that. So it's so important that we really think about what we say, even when we're upset, what we think and what we say. And I know it's difficult. I experienced myself last Saturday. It's easy to talk about, but it's a difference. It's quite a difference when you experience yourself. And I know sometimes, and I really understand people when they're upset, that they really do things that they normally wouldn't do because they're in the red zone and in the heat. And luckily, a friend of mine was with me and really helped me out and really stood with me and said, okay, reframe it again and again, because this time it was also for me very, very difficult, because what we are starting next week, it's my baby, and I love what I'm doing. When somebody is kind of sabotaging it, I get upset. But anyway, so it's about, I guess we have to be very careful what we think and what we speak out, because that's what we get, because the universe delivers what we say. When we say about negative things, we get negative things, because that's my strong belief and my own experience in 60 years, that we always get from the universe what we speak out and what we think. I don't know what you think about Dr. Jacqueline, but that's my own experience. And that's really the hard way when you're in the heat, that you reframe it and stay positive.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. I think what's also interesting is that when I had my fall, the people who were there, the instructors and the people who worked there, they were so nice. They were so just, one had her arm around me, holding me up, and it just was like, wow, they really care. And they walked me down to the locker room because I had to go down this long flight of stairs. And living alone, right? There's no one to provide any compassion or empathy. But it's interesting to me how people, as I mentioned at the top of the show, will just give these horrible judgmental comments about your situation when all you really need is some compassion. That you just want someone to say, hey, I'm here for you, it's okay. And maybe the reason why that wasn't coming up was because I was mad at myself. And I'm not mad at myself anymore. When I gave the sneakers away yesterday, I felt like I had closure on that. And I'm hoping that the universe will heal this quickly and soon. But I am giving myself grace. And I hope that's the kind of thing that I attract as opposed to the negativity.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember that, Jacqueline, when we had a show about 2.5 years ago, when I was in North Spain, and I know an hour and a half before the show started, somebody stole my expensive Rolex. And some guys, on the camping site later said, how can you wear a Rolex like this, and why don't you put it in a safe? Or well, so like, oh, it's your fault when you're wearing an expensive gadget like this. And I said, huh? Why are you judging me? It's mine. It's gone. And to be honest, I had it for 30 years. I loved it. And it's for me, it has more value to wear it 30 years and it's stolen than have it in a safe and never see it. Why should I buy it?
Can I say something? Because you did the show right after that. And I was so impressed with how you handled yourself. And what you just said also, I get a lot of flack from people about my jewelry or my watches or whatever I wear. And I think to myself, one day I will be dead and someone else will be wearing it. So why shouldn't I wear it while I'm alive? That's the whole point of wearing it. Now, because I am leaving the country, I'm really looking at what it is anytime I travel outside the country, because you don't want to be a target, right? You don't want to set yourself up. In some places, there's more crime than others. But I have to say, in our own country, in the US of A, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So it's not like you have to look too far. But to have something like that Rolex that you had and just leave it in a safe, what is the point of that? You buy a Rolex so that you can get the enjoyment out of it. And so to your point, you wore it and you wore it well for 30 years.
Absolutely.
Now, what do you think is happening to the person who took it from you? Do you think that they're getting some kind of joy from wearing it? Or do you think that the karma is coming around?
I guess they resell it, and karma is going to hit them.
Yeah.
I was not really upset about them. I was at the beginning. I was upset about myself. How it can happen to me, because a friend of mine, he told me he was on a Christmas market and they stole it, and on the Christmas market from his hand. I said, how can this happen? How dumb can you be that? And then it happens to me. I was a little bit upset with myself, but afterwards I said, okay, I had it for 30 years. I still have the invoice. I contact the insurance company. It is like this. I was a little bit upset because it was not just, to be honest, just a Rolex. It was the first one. It was the very several ones. It was the very, very first one I bought cash because I got the money paid in a week, and it was the very, very first one I bought with my own money, and that's what I'm a little bit upset. But yeah, but it doesn't make sense to complain about it. Say you made a mistake, and the next time I do it better. And it's all about, we learn from our mistakes. And as I said before, it's not about playing drama. It happened. I didn't take care much. It happened. Next time I'll be more cautious and I do it differently. But to be honest, I come down very, very quickly. As I said, yeah. Absolutely. It's also important that we focus on the things on the next thing. My grandma always said, what happened. Yeah? You can't change it. Do it better next time. But I guess so many people, and I was the same when in my young age, to be honest. I was the same, spend so much thoughts and time on things that happen, so they are really in the past, and they feel guilty or ashamed what happened in the past. Or the other ones, they're so much in the future and they're so scared and so much anxieties what could happen, what may happen, instead of being in the present moment and live life to the fullest and enjoy life to the fullest. And that's what I learned over the years to make me a happy, fulfilled person, whatever is happening. Even my wife is leaving and I get divorced, or sometimes, the business is very high, sometimes the business is down, and yeah, I'm still a happy, fulfilled person because I live in the present moment, and I'm so grateful for the things I have. I'm still alive at 61, and some of my friends already checked out. I'm healthy. I'm fit. I live a free lifestyle that I absolutely love. The life I absolutely love. Yeah, and sometimes things happen, but yeah, every time things happen. But why should I stay at home and lock my door and I'm not going out? And life is outside, adventures outside. That's life. And sometimes things happen, and I think that's so important that you stay positive and not become a misanthrope and everything is bad and every country is bad and this is bad and this is bad. Things happen, can happen. As long as we stay safe, all is good. That's my belief.
Yes, I'm in alignment with you. There's always negative things going on, and sometimes they're out of our control, but how we show up and how we react definitely is on us. So we could have a whole show about that. We probably already had once, but we actually are at the end of our show for today. So what is the message you'd like to leave with our guests? And I do see you have something you want to share on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, we bring it up. Actually, today there should be another show starting at the first German-speaking show, but I moved it to next week for some reasons, and I'm very happy that we start next Tuesday, September 23rd, 8 p.m. Central European time, because we do it in 100% in German. But if you're in the US and you speak German, it's about 2 p.m. East Standard Time, or 11 a.m. When you're on the Pacific Coast. So it's the Mutmacher show, and in English it means encouragers, and it's all about encourage people to have more clarity, more inspiration. As I said, so many people are scared and they don't know what to do, and I'm absolutely happy that we start the show next week. And I love that we do it together with USA Global TV and Radio. As a lot of people know, I have my own YouTube channel in German, where hundreds of videos uploaded, but I'm so happy and so proud that we do this on USA Global TV and Radio, because this is my home, this is my family, and this is, by the way, we have the logo on the left side from USA Global TV and Radio with all the countries, and on the other side the new logo from the Mutmacher movement, where we have this show. There's books coming and retreats coming. So yeah, so when you speak German or know somebody is speaking German, it used to be started, and then it's every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central European time. It's about encouraging people, get clarity, whatever they want in their relationships or maybe in their business. And that's what we're doing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. We are out of time as our next show is coming up. How can people reach you, and what's the best way to get in touch with you?
The best way, if you want to contact me, and I always love to contact with people and connect, it's all about sharing, connecting, and networking. Is send me an email, and then we can set up a call, whatever device you're going to use or a tool we're going to use. So send me an email. My email address is office@rolandfriedl.com. If you're joining from a podcast, I spell it for you. It's office@ROLANDFRIEDL.com. office@rolandfriedl.com. You're more than welcome. Contact me, and rolandfriedl.com is also my website. It's available in German and in English. You get more details. Thanks a lot for joining us. And don't forget, if you've done so, all the recordings, if you missed the show, all the recordings are on USA Global TV and Radio, on YouTube, and also on Dr. Jekyll and Kerbeck. Subscribe both channels, hit the bell so don't miss a show, and share it with your friends and neighbors. And thanks a lot for joining us, and see you again.
Thank you so much, Roland. Thank you, everyone. We're saying goodbye now, and our next show is coming up very quickly, and it's Talking Heads starring Dr. Madeline Chan. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.